I've been using these edge boxes all year, and I'm going to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. You've probably seen it on a bunch of other channels. I have some Busby boxes. I've had the seal up Planos for years. I decided to jump in and buy some of these this year, and we're going to talk about it. You can see I have two different sizes here. I've got 3700 size, which I put in my boat when I'm out making videos and being boater in a tournament. And then I've got my 3600 here I take with me as a co-angler. And I have this thing absolutely packed full of stuff. This is the Plano, they call it the jigs and bladed jigs box, where they've got all these little dividers where the jigs are supposed to fit in there and stay in place. And for the most part, it does a pretty good job, but it's according to the exact size of the jig and the care that you take putting into it. As you can see here, I have all my bladed jigs over here, and throughout the season, they've bounced out of the holder. You see, let me take one out as an example. This one, and I've got a ton in here, I kind of overpack, and that's what I learned this time, is they're made for the little inserts to clap right on that little rubber band, that elastic band that fits on jigs. And if the jig is the right size, about the 3/8 to ½ ounce, they fit right in there if you take the time to slide them right in there. The ½ ounce fit really good on most jigs. The 3/8, a little small, 5/16 is pretty good too. So they can bounce around. In my co-angler bag, this is straight up most of the time, or sometimes it's a little bit on an angle. It's not bounced around on the side a lot. So I have all my bladed jigs. I've got my football jigs, my bigger, heavier jigs. Some of those, the heads are so big they don't quite want to fit in here. And they bounce around a little bit. And then I've got my swim jigs and structure jigs over here. I have some small finesse jigs. Now they don't fit so well in here and they bounce around, but you can see here it's got the one shot handle, one hand. I can bounce it around a lot. I can shake it pretty good here, and what's going to happen is, since they're all jammed in there, they stay pretty well, but they can bounce around and get out. I've even got extra stuff in here because I wanted extra stuff in here. You see, and just from shaking it, that guy came out, although he fit in pretty well to begin with. He's hitting another jig. So they do a pretty good job of holding the jigs, but not a complete perfect job in holding the jigs. You can cram a lot in here. They've got the water wicking system. I have had zero rust. Even when I put stuff away a little bit wet, no problem. And these polycarbonate, if you don't get that just right, you got to make sure you get it on right. You can have a problem. They don't perfectly go on. They work pretty well. And you can see here, I bounced around. Actually, I've had this one for 2 years, and it looks brand new. Here's the same box in the 3700 size. You can see all the jigs I have in here. I have it arranged for, these are like my 1/2 inch and 3/8 footballs. These are kind of structured jigs. These are swim jigs and then jointed swim jigs. And I'm kind of down a little bit because I used a lot this year. I was just organizing tackle and figuring out what kind of stuff I need to order here. Now this is a bigger problem because in my boat, a lot of times I have this in those side panels, right? And they can definitely bounce out. If you keep it straight up and down, then they stay into place. So I kind of learned I couldn't keep all my jigs in there. So what I did was I got one of these 3700 bins for all my finesse jigs. Now this is your traditional little smaller setup packages. These things come out, you can see this is a size 3 slots, 3 slots, 3 slots, which fits pretty good for all my finesse jigs. I had a backup on finesse jigs. I had a bunch of sales last year, so I was able to restock this puppy up on about everything. Now, when this guy sits in the boat on its side here, they bounce around, but they don't go out of their little square. So, you know, that's a plus. I can't get as many in as I shoved in that one. And then I have a regular size 3700 for the big guys, the big footballs, the 3/4, the 5/8, the 1 ounce guys here. And same thing, you can put them in here. I haven't had any rust, any problems whatsoever with this big boy here. So that's how I set up my my jigs with these edge boxes. I really love them. Haven't had any problem with them. No cracking, no rusting. Things stay organized really well. Jury might be out on this guy. Like I said, 1/2-inch jigs, it holds really well, and chatterbaits. Other stuff can kind of bounce around according to the head size. Now, the other thing people have talked about is if you don't push the jigs all the way down in here, your weed guards, if you got weed guards on them, they can be bent over a little bit. I've noticed a little bit of that, not enough to bother me. I usually trim them up a little bit anyway, so it's really no big deal. So if I had it to do over again, would I buy this box? I kind of think so, but I'm not sure. We'll use it for another year and see what happens. The other thing I do here is I have a little label maker, so I can see what's in them from the top side, and then on some of them I store them in racks at home sideways. I put them on this side. They stay on pretty well, although over time, like anything with the sun and, you know, UV, they come out. Hey, how do you guys organize your jigs? Do you use these boxes, traditional boxes? Some people just put them in a box and leave them in the bag because they want to, you know, see what they are. I don't like to leave them in the bags and wrappers. Some bags aren't too bad, like the E-Factor stuff. Those little bags, you can rip them right out, but you do got to rip them if the wind's blowing. I don't want to be a polluter and throw it in the lake. You got to throw it in your boat somewhere. Berkeley, I like some of those Berkeley jigs. They have those hard packs, and you know, when you're in a hurry, you don't want to be messing with those. So, you know, jury's out on that one. Thanks for watching. If you like, please subscribe. And until then, keep your lines tight.